Hello, this is Juliana Raposo with the San Diego Bromeliad Society. Today we will talk to Nathan Gazinel David from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Hi, Nathan.
Hey Juliana, how are you feeling today?
I am great. How are you?
I'm wonderful as always. Actually, today I had a little crisis of nerves because I would give the presentation, but I'm recovering with some time during the presentation. I gotta feel really well, but I'm feeling fantastic.
Well,
So,
we're all friends here. It's all good.
hmm, thank you. Yeah. So I think that you're gonna present say something about me, isn't it?
Yeah, so uh, some of you may already know Nathan from social media because he has a lot of interesting posts about bromeliads. But Nathan is an explorer, he's a collector, and he's an adventurer. So he has one of the largest private collections of Brazilian species of bromeliads, also gesneriads and cacti. And in July of this year, along with fellow naturalist Sejong Zhang, he completed a field survey of tillandsias and other flora in Southeast Brazil, where they covered this huge area. And soon they will reveal some newly discovered species. And also, Nathan has given talks to the California Horticultural Society, the San Francisco Bromeliad Society, La Bellona Society, and now us. Take it
Mhm.
away, Nathan.
Yeah, that's a pleasure to give that presentation. I really hope that you all appreciate that. And the title of our presentation is Collecting and Science, Collecting, Traveling, and Studying Brazilian Flora. Why that title? Because there is a kind of a war in Brazil when we talk about collecting things, about collection, about science, and that image of a collector between a scientific field, and because it's not really well seen, the idea of a botanist being a collector or a collector being a botanist. It's a thing that has some kind of a conflict between that. And I'm that person. I started to collect orchids with 5 years, and then also I was a collector of many things more, like soap to take shower. Like that's so crazy. Yeah, I know, but like now I'm here talking to you all in my as I say, Gabinet de curiosité, as we say in French. Uh, curiosity cabinets. That's how I should say it in English, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
curiosity
uh,
cabinet. I can see in the back. Yeah.
yeah, here is my part of my indigenous art collector from Brazil, some Egyptian piece, and things like that. So to live in my house is kind of a journey because so when I go to the field to study to do some field work with botanists, actually I must tell you all that I'm not yet a botanist. I was born a botanist, but I'm not yet. I'm studying biology and I gonna be a botanist. But no, I'm trying to be a biologist, but I'm a red that since I was born. And so I'm inside, I'm um I'm studying biology as I said, and as I was saying, why when I go to the field with friends and I come back with plants, it's not uncommon to me to stay like on my bed and there is a tarantula walking in the bedroom or frogs all over because they come with the bromeliads and it doesn't belong like I didn't want to take them but sometimes they are with the plants and in the field everything must be very fast. We don't have time to do some certain things. And like not deciding to take, then sometimes we take, and there are frogs all over and tarantulas are in my bedroom, and that's crazy. There was a person called Evil, and on that moment they said he and Orlando and him and Orlando and my other friend Orleda, friend of Orlando too, said that Evil, that man, was thinking about leaving his collection because he was not really more interested on that because he was already old and not really energized, if I can say like that, with the whole thing. And the next day, I was
Hold on.
in.
If I should say, like you guys maybe remember Orlando Graff because he gave us a talk in 2021 about his garden in Petropolis and his art, his botanical art. So very interesting character. And you didn't tell us, Nathan, who was Ivo Pena? How did he come to have all
Yeah,
these bromeliads? Wow.
Ivo was an architect that worked constructing Brasilia with Niemeyer and Bulemax. Ivo was that person, and while that, he was also many things more. He was how do I say autodidata? Autodidata doesn't make sense in English.
Self-taught.
Self-taught. He was a self-taught in botanic, and Ivo started to describe plants with Edmundo Pereira, that was one of the most important botanists in Brazil
Hmm.
since all. And Ivo was a really good friend of Edmundo. And while he was describing plants with Edmundo, Edmundo used it to give him the plants, to him to take care at home, to try to make the plants bloom, and then to describe the plants.
Hmm.
And that was kind of agreement with between them. And
Like a living herbarium,
yeah,
almost.
yeah. And so that collection that I inherited from Evo is composed by those plants and also many plants more that he collected with the family Correia de Araújo. That we have also Roembergia Correia Araújo, that we have Neurogelia Correia Araújo, and Echimeia Correia Araújo, many plants more with the name in honor of the family. I inherited those plants, and when I say those plants are plants from the holotype material. So the first plants to be collected in nature to be described. So if we have some question about what is, let's suppose, a Roembergia Correia Araújo. I'm not saying like I'm not trying to be snob in what I say, but I have the original plant that can show what is truly a Roembergia Correia Araújo, the pure plant, the one that was the one that it was used to be described. It's a clonotype,
And you
and
have all the field information, all the collection information, so it's like very valuable for study.
yeah. There is a citation of Louis XIV, that is, when Noel was a party on Versailles, they asked Louis XIV how many bedrooms had Versailles. And Louis XIV, he answered, if I knew how many bedrooms I had on my palace, it wouldn't be big enough. And that's how I take my collections. But it's around 203, 2,300, 2,200, 300, something like that. And but for example, tillandsias. I have the hugest, the biggest collection of tillandsias in Brazil. So about something that's really common, let's say, tillandsia stricta. I had tillandsia stricta from the extremely northwest Brazil to the extremely southwest Brazil. All the plants that occur in the Atlantic forest I have almost from all states of Brazil in the coastal area. For Tillandsia recurvata, that is a very common plant, I have the same situation. I have, for example, Tillandsia didicica from all the diagonal from Argentina to the extremely northwest Brazil. And we can see clear the difference of how the plant evolved in different circumstances in all the Brazilian territory. And
Mhm.
that's why my collection is important, because there is no collection with that specific
Focus.
focus, but also like it's Tillandsia stricta is a common plant.
Uh-huh.
They're very common. So as a lot of people say, like, but why do you have so many common plants like that? No, I have the common ones and I have all the others too. But but like about the all the plants, all Tillandsias that we have described in Brazil, I don't have only three. And so the importance of the exchange material with collections is exactly about what I started to talk about. That Ivo passed the collection to me, and somebody passed the plans to Ivo too. And to who I gonna pass my plans? No, that's the incognita. That's the question.
Mhm.
How are we gonna follow that? How are we gonna take that? And how gonna be the future of a collection like that? And I see no solution different than the construction of a foundation for the conservance of Brazilian endangered plants, Brazilian endangered ecosystems, or things like that. That is, as I'm saying about many things, a whole another thing. And I just want to give a brief of that because on that, because if I skip on that, all the presentation gonna be about how construct a foundation and based on what and with in which direction take that. So, but that is the main idea that know my direction. The way is only to construct a foundation to keep my collection, to keep the Brazilian, to try to make the conservation of endangered plants.
Right.
And yeah, so I already spoke about that point. That is when the collection becomes bigger than the collector, what it is destiny. And I already spoke about that. And trips over Brazilian rainforest. I'm gonna also give an idea of how was my trip with the already mentioned Sejong, with who I traveled around Brazil. I traveled over 14,000 kilometers with Sejong in Brazil. Can you
Wow.
have a notion how crazy is a trip like that? And yeah, that's really crazy. So, um, that's me taking a picture of Syncoria albopicta in Mucugê on our trip. This is the on our left we see where we already went in Brazil, all the places that we went. And the second map on our right gonna be the full area of that we're gonna study that we're gonna study in just 1 year and a half.
Wow, it's huge.
That's unbelievable. The word for that is no is impossible to use another word than unbelievable. It's
Yeah.
something without Sejong, because I know that you guys gonna see that when he give the presentation. He is unbelievable.
Right.
Yeah, so that's Tillandsia reclinata. And I wanted just to give an idea of how was our trip and what we found. Tillandsia carminia in the high mountains of Teresópolis,
Close to your
around
house.
how, sorry?
Close to your house.
Yeah, really close. Around 1,700 meters. Oh, the precious Tillandsia graziali. No, Tillandsia graziali, we already know that the Tillandsia graziali is the rarest Tillandsia in Brazil. It has the most limited area of occurrence in for all Tillandsias that we read studied. The most limited area of occurrence. And something interesting that I would like to talk is that we have blooms in Tillandsia graziali just one time in 3 years. In three
In the field or in your collection?
in the field, just 3 times, just one time in 3 years. The cycle of the plant to bloom is 3 years in nature. So
Wow.
that's why it's really difficult. A plant like that we can see in the pictures have probably over 100 years.
That the one on the left?
We cannot like I cannot tell you with sure, but I have plants in collection that are over 60 years.
Okay.
60 years. That's really fantastic because the plant needs around not less than 15 years to reach the mature size in nature, not less. I think around between 15 to 20 years. And when my plant was collected was in 1979.
Wow.
On our left, we have Tillandsia rosiflora from Petropolis. That is not well studied, documented occurrence of Tillandsia rosiflora, and the plants for Petropolis are 2 times, 3 times bigger than all the others that we can find around. And in the middle, we have the natural hybrid of Tillandsia rosiflora and probably Tillandsia gardneri.
Nice. And that one is in your hand, so it's in your collection.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the newly described Tillandsia montserratina, and it's microendemic apparently to just one place also on a place called Montserrat.
Where is that?
It's in the state of Rio de Janeiro, around around Levi Gasparia.
Mm.
It is still in the state of Rio de Janeiro. That is Tillandsia natani.
Okay, explain.
That plant I was going to visit a friend of mine, and I looked at a wall here in Petropolis, a cliff, like 90 degrees, and I saw the cliff far away, and I said immediately, I recall really well. I saw the cliff and I said, I can see Tillandsias there. And that cliff is just behind of the house of my friend. And in the third time that I went there, I finally went to the rock and I found many plants in the soil. When I say many plants, around 30 plants, because it's another thing that is really important to talk about. That is the what happens with the hiking activity on the populations of bromeliads in Brazil. Because when people start to hike the mountains, they don't think about, not always, but sometimes they don't think about the plants around. And they
Yeah.
destroy everything.
Yeah.
And that's why I found tillandsia natani. I found tillandsia natani in the soil because the climbers uh, took it out, the plants from the wall, and I found all in the soil to die, you know?
Oh my
So
God.
yeah, yeah. And if I go now to the place, I gonna find maybe, let's say, 20, 30, 40 plants in the soil. But imagine an activity like that happen over the years. The population gonna be lost.
Yeah.
Tillandsia natani with flowers. That's another Tillandsia rosea flora, but from Nova Friburgo. Yeah, this is Tillandsia tenuifolia vardungsiana. That's also from my trip with Sejong, and I that plant is endemic, micro-endemic to just one a certain location in the Nova Friburgo area. Nova Friburgo and the border between Nova Friburgo and Santa Maria Madalena. That's one of three species that we have of tillandsias in Brazil that grows upside down.
Mm. And these are all growing on granitic cliffs, right? Like
Yeah, all,
mountainsides.
well, and it grows around 1,700 meters, and as I'm saying, it grows upside down. And maybe in the image, we cannot really understand that, but it's really curious because the plant grows upside down, and then when it starts just to do something like this, not like that, not like that, like this. And it's really curious. That's the only no. We have another Tillandsia tenuifolia that grows like that also, but in South Brazil. But
Mhm.
it's like just we have just some certain cases of that in Brazil. That's another plant that, in my opinion, it's a new species that's really related with tenuifolia, and it's a very teeny plant, very teeny. And when I say teeny, it's around 3 centimeters, 2 centimeters when mature. So it's a very small tenuifolia.
Wow.
But that plant was sent to Elton, and Elton don't think so that it's a
Hey,
new
Elton,
species.
let's make a little parentheses here. Elton Lemme, the taxonomist, famous taxonomist from Brazil. Yeah,
That's described more as more species. That is the person that described more species alive.
true.
Yeah. So, but Elton, he thinks that that plant's not new, but in the scale, as I said, of what I saw, I think it's new.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we can find Tillandsia tenuifolia and the new Cattleya aswensis in Petropolis. There
Wow.
was Sophronitis before some years ago, and the work of Casper van den Berg, he described, he reclassified the plant to the genus Cattleya. That is rare. That's rare. Oh my goodness, that's really rare. Brisia vidali. That it's almost a mythical plant, and we find just some clumps around Nova Friburgo and Petropolis, and that's one of the plants that we don't have a clear information of how it evolved, how it the full area of occurrence in Brazil. That's a really really curious plant and complicated also. I'm not capable, for example, to say because also I never had that plant on my hand, but that plant is we have around I think two other species that are really closely related to that one. And since those plants grows on extremely high altitude, um, we don't have many materials to analyze, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's in 1,800 meters.
Wow.
The temperature can like it's around zero, not zero, less, maybe sometimes -8, no, not -8, sorry, -2, -3 on that altitude there.
Yeah. Celsius.
Celsius. And that's Alcantara martinelli, one of the rarest Alcantarayas in the genus. And the first Theolotipus material was described for Petropolis by Gustavo Martinelli. So here we have Tillandsia suprae, a plant that we can find growing in the high mountains of Rio de Janeiro. But attention, it happens just in the city of Rio de Janeiro and growing in front of the sea on a really strong condition of wind, of sun, and that thing that came from the ocean with salt. You know, how do I say that in English?
Salt spray.
Sorry?
Salt spray.
That thing, that thing. Yeah. So, Tillandsia brachyphylla, that is much, much more rare. And we must make attention also that we can find the hybrid that is really rare, really rare. Oh, that plant I don't have, but I know about the existence. And also that plant is a plant that can live over 100 years. The hybrid between Tillandsia brachyphylla and Tillandsia suprae. Also, we have natural hybrid between Tillandsia brachyphylla and Tillandsia geminiflora that is possible to be found there also. And that variation of geminiflora that is possible to be found around the area is a plant with the bracteas on a green color and a very compact one. Very, very beautiful one. Unfortunately, I didn't put that plant on this presentation. I have the plant, but it's not with me. A botanist just collect that plant and it's waiting to give to me that plant.
Okay, and the brachyphylla, where does it grow?
For example, Pedro da Gávea.
Oh,
Yeah,
so in the
yeah,
city of Rio.
yeah, in the middle of the city and growing just behind with Tillandsia suprae.
Cool.
And many things more. For example, as we can see, Sigmatodon goniohax. For example, also a Sigmatodon brassicoides.
And is this one this one you show in there? Is it also endemic to the city, to Pedro da Gávea?
Yeah, it happens just around the city of Pedro da Gávea region and around, not just in Pedro da Gávea, but let's take that as a main population. And also we can find, for example, Brisia botafogensis, Brisia Brisia flammea, also in the region. So, and we can find many hybrids between that. I also must say, I don't know if John gonna show that on his presentation, that he found the only one known hybrid between bigeneric hybrid between Tillandsia and the Stigmatodon in nature.
Woo.
That is amazing. That's wonderful. Really, really fantastic. And so Sigmatodon goniohax and growing with Tillandsia suprae. Like that, on this picture, we can perfectly comprehend why it's possible to find a hybrid. It's much, much more rare. As I said, we know about the existence of just one plant, and he really studied the region, and so it's really rare. And but I think that is goniohax with the sucrae, the population of Tillandsia raugeae that we can find all over the city of Rio de Janeiro. But attention that it ends when the city of Rio de Janeiro ends. It's really curious because we have no places where we found tillandsia raugeii growing south city of Rio de Janeiro. When I say south, after Barra da Tijuca. After that, there is kind of a gap. I don't know how to explain that. Raugeii didn't follow to the south, but we must recall that we have the new species that gonna be described. Uh, Gonna be the first article with my name actually. We have Tillandsia natani, but we're gonna have the article that I'm a co-author on the paper, and it's gonna be a species related with Raugeii. I cannot say
Mm.
the name of the plant, otherwise they're gonna kill me. But it's microendemic to the island of Alcatrazes in São Paulo. It's closely related to Raugeii, but not the same. It's, as I'm saying, it's related. It's
Yeah.
for what everything that we know is the closest one.
Just another thing here. Tillandsia raugeii is one that I know that a lot of people grow. So would you say that it also takes salt spray?
Definitely, I think that in some circumstances, maybe that salt thing is kind of important to certain people to have well the plants in cultivation.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. Well, wherever you go to the beach in Rio, you see them clinging to the rocks. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. And we have here Sigmatodon. We sorry, we're leaving the city of Rio de Janeiro. I mean the central part of the state, and we are going to the north,
Mm-hmm.
where we have the Sigmatodon new species in Morro do Coco, and we have just behind Tillandsia tietcheni, the type location for that species that is a mythical species in cultivation around the world.
And they always grow facing down like this?
Yeah, yeah, that population always. But we found other populations a little bit more in the north, north, but already in the state of Espírito Santo, growing up, growing to the direction of to the sun. And but the majority of the plants grow always upside down.
And is this coastal or inland?
It's inland.
Okay.
It's inland. Oh, Tillandsia tietcheni never grows close to the sea. Yeah, so here we have a new species of Tillandsia that is related with Tillandsia burlemax. That is a species that they found on, just one time in nature, and that they think that somehow the rock was exploded. They mined the rock, and maybe the plant doesn't exist anymore, and
So it
it's
was in
already
an area that where there was mining?
yeah, it's just a possibility
Mm.
because since the plant was found, nevermore they found. It's one of the cases of plant that is lost in Brazil.
Okay.
I recovered the plant. I mean, I people sent me the plant and to Brazil. So my collection now is the only collection in Brazil that have that plant that recovered the plant for the Brazilian country, um, the Brazil country, and that plant, Tillandsia burlemax, is related with that species. That is, we don't have the name yet. It and always also it grows upside down, and but that population is special because it likes humidity, and all the others that we found from since Rio de Janeiro to the northwest Brazil grows on places without humidity. It likes it prefers to grow on the position of the rock where it doesn't receive rain. It's
Wow.
really curious, really curious. It just receives the humidity in the air, but
Right.
not really rain. It always grows like when the rock makes kind of a cave and it grows there. And it's totally uncommon for tillandsias, totally uncommon. But that
Interesting.
one that we are seeing likes a humidity somehow.
Mm-hmm.
We have the map where I show alcatrazes in São Paulo, where we found the new species that I said.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, this is Tillandsia alcatrazensis with Gabriel Sabino, that is my friend, the botanist, that with who I'm describing the new species of Tillandsia in the island of Alcatrazes. On the island, we have a huge variation of colors in the plants. Really, really, really crazy, because we have from green plants until almost like kind of like wine, and that's really, really curious because we have the pink ones, we have wine ones, green ones, all growing together on a mix, and it doesn't happen to other species of tillandsia. No, it's the only case for in tillandsia in Brazil. In Brazil, attention, in Brazil, it's the only species that we know that it can happen. The plants have probably have a much larger area of occurrence than we first think.
Mm-hmm.
Always, it's kind of a rule. It's kind of a rule, and I don't agree now with the things that people like say, like, "Oh no, the plant is microendemic to just one location." Until we really study everything around, we cannot say that. It's,
Yeah.
on my opinion, that's ridiculous to say, no, the plant is microendemic. Oh, definitely, because we saw just one mountain. We can say what we can say.
Yeah, it's microendemic until you visit the next mountain, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I was following the map and I just changed some slides. And so we are in the state of Espírito Santo, where we crossed the entire state four times, and we see Sigmatodon.
This is amazing. Look at this photo. Looks like a tapestry.
Yeah, that's wonderful, isn't it?
And all the stems of like that show all the years the plants have been growing.
Yeah, yeah. A plant like that can be easily over like 70 years, 80 years,
Can you
because
move
it
back to the
grows.
last slide? Because I think that one, the photo was better. Yeah, look at that.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And growing with tillandsias, as we can make attention, and I think on that population we found one bigeneric hybrid between Sigmatodon and tillandsias too. One, just one. On left, we can see a Tiekeni on my hand. And why I returned with Tiekeni here? Because it's another population of Tiekeni. We already found over 20 populations of Tiekeni. Over 20. And was known just three.
And does the picture on the left, is this how you grow them?
Yeah, yeah. It's a variation of Gardneria with large leaves, shorter and larger in the base.
Uh-huh.
That's a special plant. That's people would get crazy in the future to have plants created in produced like that. People gonna get crazy.
It's really
It's
beautiful.
definitely a good clone to put in cultivation in future.
And this one is also in Espírito Santo?
Yeah, yeah. Now everything that we see is in Espírito Santo.
Okay.
This one is a Sophronitis that I didn't really find the species. Was a Sophronitis, now it's a Cattleya, sorry. And we have also another population of Tillandsia affinis tiekeni. Sejong think
It's
it's a new
different.
species. Huh?
It looks different from the other
Y-
one.
Yeah, yeah. Sejong thinks it's a new species,
Is this
but
moss growing in between them, or what's the green thing?
exactly in the middle of the moss, in the
Wow.
middle. So we can comprehend, we can understand that the plant really appreciate humidity.
Crazy.
Yeah, this is Tillandsia bergeri, growing also with orchids, and it's in the city of Pancas, in the Espírito Santo. As I said, we everything that we have seen is in the state of Espírito Santo.
Hmm.
It's another species of stigmatodon that was, I think, just described some years ago, and it's a very dark color. It's a very beautiful, beautiful plant. I don't like to talk a lot about the stigmatums, I mean, the names, because many of them are really close related.
Hmm.
And my collection is not fantastic about stigmatodons. So I know that those plants, why I know that the Tillandsia graziale needs 3 years to bloom. I mean, just in 3 by 3 years it blooms because I saw that in cultivation, and
Hmm.
I followed. I saw the plants on nature in nature. I followed the calendar of the plants,
Hmm.
so that's why I know. And also, for example, I have stigmatodon agoniohax from Rio de Janeiro since 1979.
Wow. Yeah.
So we have Stigmatodon plurifolius growing, creating huge clumps. That's a kind of uncommon thing for stigmatodons. They create clumps, but not from one plant growing like grass. It's uncommon
Hmm.
how
Yeah. Yeah.
it produces offsets. Amazing, isn't it?
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is Sigmatodon. It's not really common because apparently the area of occurrence is not isn't large, but the populations are huge. We
Mm.
can see a wall. I don't know if no, I didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't put. We can see a wall of 200 meters covered all with hairy lutein, and it's bright like white, like silver for kilometers away. You
Wow,
are
that's
two
beautiful.
kilometers, 3 kilometers, and you can see the rock brighten with the sun. That's amazing. That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's a new species that's been sold in the market illegally with the name Tillandsia montana.
Oh.
There is a trafficker selling that plant in the market in Brazil and out of Brazil, also in Asia, and he is selling the plant with the identification as Tillandsia montana. That actually Tillandsia montana is a species that is related with Tillandsia seideliana. It's related to that species. And it's a plant from South Brazil. That one is from the state of Espírito Santo, from the north part of the state of Espírito Santo. And that plant is a kind of a giant tenuifolia that is, when I say large, is like 15 to 18 centimeters from one leaf to the other leaf,
Mm-hmm.
and grows like sometimes getting like bigger than 1 meter, 1 meter and a half, and it's a
Wow.
really big plant.
Wow.
Yeah, I have that plant in collection too.
So this one is hasn't been described yet.
Yeah, yeah, it's a new
Mm.
species, and it's apparently restricted to the north part of the state of Rio of Espírito Santo.
And none of these areas are protected.
Some of them, but not with the plant motivation.
Mm.
It's more like to protect from granitic exploration without pay kind of the correct money to the government.
Right, yeah. Yeah, because the problem with these Inselbergs, a lot of times they are blasted to make for the stone for construction.
Yeah, yeah, that is the case that
Yeah.
maybe happened with Tillandsia burlemax.
Yeah.
You know, it one of the theories about why the plant disappeared. So here we have Tillandsia renata rosei, that is one of the rarest apparently species of Tillandsia. The population we it was known for just one place, but me and Sejong we found more around three populations, three populations. Um, yeah, so this is Tillandsia castellensis, also rare, really rare, and it happens just in the in the state of Espírito Santo. And we have Stigmatodon aparecianus. That is one of the most common species in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the state of Minas Gerais. That's huge. And
Yeah.
I don't think that we're gonna have enough time to talk really about that. Yeah, we have Encolirium scrutum that we have many variations. We
This
have
plant is cool.
yeah, we have four variations of Encolirium scrutum. I have two or three in cultivation. Vrisian anusai that is really rare, really rare. And another variation of Encolirium scrutum. That's Nathan, not
Yeah.
Bromeliad. Yeah, my friends used to say that I do photosynthesis. Yeah, that's Risa diamantinensis and Encolirium diamantinum.
Beautiful.
That is for me one of the most bromeliads in Brazil, in my opinion.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's probably a hybrid between Encolirium diamantinum and Encolirium pedicellatum. That is probably one of the rarest species inside of the genus.
What area was that in Minas?
It's in the around the complex of Diamantina. Diamantina is a city, and we all around is full of endemisms. There we can use the word endemism because the plants are really endemic to certain areas.
Mm-hmm.
There we can definitely use it. Tillandsia castellensis and another picture and the map of Bahia and the green part is where we did the most expressive expeditions.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Sigmatodon itamarajuensis that was just described in Brazil, and Tillandsia Vrisia pseudoliganta that gonna be changed to that was changed to they changed to the genus Stigmatodon and left Tillandsia stricta varpiniformis.
Very different.
The Stigmatodon andaroyensis that is one of the most wine-like color ones. It's I think that we don't have that species out of Brazil yet. It's very beautiful. Vrisia lancifolia, that is a common plant, but very beautiful. Hohenbergia Leopoldhorst, and very beautiful plant. That one is a very common one. We can find all over.
What
And
kinds
then
of other
Corinho and
plants do you find in this area?
Juliana, we find many things, many things like Gesneriads. We find Sininjas, that is a plant inside of Gesneriads. We find many species of cactus, many species, many species. We find um, mm, uh, we find sometimes on certain circumstances some amaryllis and in the genus of Epiastrum.
Hmm.
And yeah, so it's those areas usually where we find the bromeliads is full of everything like generiads, orchids, and cactus. They all grow together.
Yeah,
And that plant is a Lawrenceana.
yeah.
And that plant we found in northwest Brazil. And the Sejong said, Nathan, you know we're gonna find tillandsia lawrenceana. And I told him we won't. And he said, we gonna. And I said, we won't. And he said, I'm gonna prove you. And then we found. And
Okay.
that's Sejong. You guys are gonna see who is Sejong in the next presentations. And this is another part of the population of tillandsia lawrenceana that just that occurrence of that plant should deserve a presentation. Just
Yeah.
that.
So this is a
Unfortunately,
dry area.
extremely dry, extremely dry, extremely. Of everything that I'm talking, of everything, that is the driest one.
It's
We
Caatinga,
can
right?
Yeah, it's in the middle of Caatinga. That place, we sometimes we don't have rain for over a year, and I know that on that place we had over 2 years. I know, I know, I know.
Wow.
Yeah, a beautiful picture of Cryptanthus affinis baianus.
Wow. So a cryptanthus in the Caatinga. I didn't even know that could happen.
Yeah. But that place for Cryptanthus was especially a little bit more humidity. And Tillandsia population of Tillandsia gardneri growing together with Tillandsia jaquiensis and Tillandsia iasuensis, all
Beautiful.
together.
Very
Now
beautiful.
we understand why the plants, we can find so many hybrids, natural hybrids, that I love it. I love it. And I have a really good collection of natural hybrids.
Are they
Uh,
growing in layers, one on top of the other?
no layers, no rules, nothing that is possible to be explained, comprehend, to whatever. It's we just need to see and say, oh no, man, what is that? Because no rules. It grows as a. I would like to use a word, but I won't. And it's kind of a mess. It's kind of a mess.
Yeah, I think I can imagine what you were thinking of. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and it's a federal district where we found Tillandsia barrosoi. They call that barrosoi. I wrote here barrosoi because that plant's in the market as barrosoi. But with the research that we did, my opinion is that Tillandsia barrosoi, as we already have in the taxonomy, it doesn't exist. It's a Tillandsia didistica.
Mm.
It's a synonymia, synonymous. And now we are going down. It's the last part of the trip, and we are going down to South Brazil, and the next trip. And it's Tillandsia leucopetala, and I put, as I put in the map, in South Brazil.
Uh-huh.
And so I this is the area of occurrence, is the one of the rarest species of Tillandsia too.
In Rio
Tillandsia
Grande do Sul.
in Rio Grande do Sul, that is the state in South Brazil. Tillandsia viteki, that is also really rare and described by Henrique Binnicker. So here we have Tillandsia winkleri, variation alba, that is a really rare specimen to find in nature. Until what do we know, just one that clump was found.
Wow.
We have species of Tillandsia that's closely related to Tillandsia leonamiana. It came from the state of Paraná and from the west part of the state. Those pictures, I didn't wrote the name of the person who took the pictures because those pictures are gonna be used in the description of the article, and I shouldn't be here showing the pictures.
Oh.
Yeah. So this is Tillandsia leonamiana, the true one. The really true one that as I showed, it's what I did. Yeah, sorry. So it's closely related to that one, but it's definitely another thing. I mean, on my perspective, on what I know and to everything that I saw, that plant is different. But for Henrique Binnicker, they are the same. I don't think so. So in left, we have one plant from one region. On right, we have other plant from another region. But as we can see clear, the one right on the right is in cultivation at Henrique Binnicker house, and in the left is the plant in the wild. I have that plant, not the one that I see the picture, but I have. It's Tillandsia casmophyta, one of the three plants that I don't have about the ones that are already described. That I said that it came from the border between the state of Rio Grande do Sul and Santa Catarina. Yeah, and then we go to the last part, the last border of my collection, where I conquered that is the west part of Brazil, where we're gonna find three populations until what I searched, and because we knew just one population, the Holotipus population, the holotype population, but I made connections with more informations and I found more two populations. But I found the plant with a distance between each one to the other for over 300 kilometers. So that's make us think that the occurrence of the plant is much more large than we thought in the beginning. And there we can see Tillandsia bonita in nature as it grows. And in this place, sometimes we don't have rain for over also a year.
Wow. Where is that?
It's in west part of Brazil, close to the border with Paraguay.
Okay.
Sorry, Paraguay, no, with Uruguay. No, sorry, with Paraguay. Sorry, it's correct. And we have more pictures of Tillandsia bonita, and that plant is a plant that has more relation with plants in Chile than the plants, the Brazilian plants, the Brazilian Tillandsias. So there we can find it starts a different geological formation that have more interaction with the vegetation in Chile, Argentina, and Paraguay than with the plants that we mainly know for Brazil.
Okay.
That picture is from Zenilton Miranda, where he collected the plant that I sent in the location. I sent in the location, and he went there to find the plant. And as we can see, it's the flowers. And it's another new species. it's really a miscellaneous. Actually, as you guys can see, I did a miscellaneous in the presentation.
Mm-hmm.
But in this picture, we can see a new species from the region of north part of the state of Minas Gerais.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a plant related to Termifolia, and it's been analyzed, but as we can see, it's definitely a new species. It's another crazy plant, really crazy plant, because I don't know what it is. The possibility is that it's a hybrid, but we don't have any plants with uh, um, that color of flower in the region. And the plant that just that plant should deserve a presentation because it's a complicated history involving related to tillandsia leonamiana because in the beginning Saido collected plants in Paraná and sent to Europe. But when Renata Ehlers saw the plant, she saw that was another thing, a new thing, and she asked for more plants. But when arrived, the plant was another plant. So
Mm.
it's a really complicated history, and one of those plants, Saido said that came from the state of Minas Gerais. And sorry for the pictures now, but the pictures belong to my personal archive. I didn't want sorry, I didn't thought in the beginning that I was taking pictures to show to do something, some presentation. Was just a personal control of my collection, of how the plants was growing and evolving in collection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is Neurogelia insulana that they say that it's microendemic to also the archipelago of Alcatrazes. And I wanted to down to put those pictures more about like some curiosities, some strange plants. We already have that plant in the commerce, I think, in United States, but as I said, apparently it's microendemic to the island of Alcatrazes
Mm-hmm.
until we do a better research. And it's a Tillandsia stricta. That's a variation that happens in Brazil, just in north part of Bahia, and going up to the northeast part of the extremely northeast part of Brazil, and it always keep that greenish color in the bracteas with kind of a cerulean color, blue color in the flower. It's
Mm-hmm.
always like that.
Different.
Yeah, yeah. That's an Dickia oscari. It's also a rare plant to find in Brazil, and it's a plant from also West Brazil. Um, it's Eichmeia liliacinanta. That's a rare plant. You saw that plant at Rolando's house.
Mm-hmm.
That's a rare plant, a really rare plant.
It's
That
also
one.
from Mato Grosso.
No, no, no. That one, as I said, I did a miscellaneous in the presentation. That one is a plant from Petropolis. It's a plant
Mm-hmm.
from Petropolis, and apparently, it exists just in one region. In the name of the district is Rocio. That's the holotypal material plant from Ivo of Vrisia punctulata, a plant that Ivo described himself. That's Tillandsia ertoni. That is a plant that was just some years ago described. I made the connection with the botanist to tell him the location to him to go there and collect the plants. And when he collect the plants, that person is Everton, and Everton saw the plant immediately. He knew that was a new thing. So the plant is described in honor of a botanist called Ayrton. That's a natural hybrid between Tillandsia ertoni and Tillandsia iassuensis.
Mm.
Yeah, this is tillandsia hoffackeri, one of the lost, apparently, they say that is a lost species in Brazil. And that plant came from Czech Republic, from a collection because it's like it's the only plant in collection in Brazil. It's not really true because apparently we are finding the location. I didn't go there, so that's why I'm saying and on that way to put the verb to use the verb as we are thinking that you're finding the location
Mm.
because it's not really checked. This is Deuteroconia messiana in the collection of Orlando Graff. The plant in the left, the that with wine-like color plant, I gave Orlando, and
Hmm.
that plant is from Mato Grosso also, and yeah, that
Love
plant
that plant.
that's a beautiful plant. You know, the plant change colors each season in the of the year. Each season, if you go there now, gonna be one color. If you go in 2 months, gonna change. But it has the darkest color when it's in the driest season. That's Neurogelia affinis baiana, a crazy clone that came from the Cactarian horst. As we can see, it grows on a very strange way to grow. It's totally uncommon for a Neurogelia to grow. Can you see, Juliana?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really strange, really strange. It's a
Tubular.
yeah, it's a really strange, and it grows like an creating, it's going up, and it definitely it grows getting larger, but it grows in the direction of like going up, and it's not common for a neurogelia.
No, totally different. Yeah.
That's canistrum that came from Kamakan, but we have all over that plant in a color on a type color that is green, and that one is a kind of wine. It's a rare also specimen.
Hmm.
This is Siqueiranthus. As I said, sorry for the pictures. It wasn't a picture to be used on a presentation,
It's
and
okay.
that's a Siqueiranthus cinereus, a plant that also was just described. And Everton Ilo, he gave me the plant, and I'm trying to make Everton give a presentation to the San Diego Society.
Yeah.
That one is a Comashantini variation Amazonica from Bule Max and Margaret Me, and they collected while traveling Amazon. That's a plant that tells a history, and
Yeah.
probably that one was the specimen used by Margaret Me to make the drawing that is very famous around the world, and about an ecmea, and probably is that one because it was, as I said, collected by Burle Marx and Margaret Mee.
Amazing.
Encolurius scrutor. As you guys can see, I don't have more space for plants. And I just wanted to put a picture how I put my plants in the collection, and I just took put some pictures, and like as you guys can see, it's very small place, and I have 2,000 around 2,200 plants
Wow.
on 3 different places. And if you guys arrive here and visit my place, it's almost impossible to get in the greenhouse. You must be very attentive how you are walking there. And this is Tillandsia bulemax, the plant that they found only one time and never more. And we don't know from where it came from.
Oh,
It's not a rarest plant to find in collections in the United States, but it tells a history, you know. It's about the destruction of
yeah.
ecosystems. This is a Tillandsia berger. Why I decided to put this plant here? Because it came from a population in Bahia where it's called Tillandsia sprengeliana. It's it's definitely something really wrong, and for who don't really know the plant, what is a Tillandsia sprengeliana, gonna look the plant and gonna think it's an sprengeliana, but it's not an sprengeliana. Uh, who knows a sprengeliana can see very clear, but it's in the archives in the botanical garden it says that's sprengeliana.
Hmm.
Tillandsia recurvifolia var subsecundifolia. That is a common plant, but why I decided to put here? Because it's misunderstood the difference for in many collections in the United States between Tillandsia recurvifolia variation subsecundifolia and Tillandsia leonamiana.
Hmm.
People changed the labels and they made a mess all over the world with that. So to
Hmm.
talk about that's a very, very important question. And this is Tillandsia waiasuensis. That is a newly described plant by a German. Also, apparently, the plants arrived in Germany 20 years ago.
Okay.
This is a new species that Henrique Binnicker, he thinks that is a new species, but I don't think so. I think it's a variation of Alcatrazensis, the plant from the archipelago of Alcatrazes. That plant is the last plant that I found in nature. I mean, last until this presentation. The last thing that I found in nature is that plant.
Okay.
And in Henrique Binnicker, he thinks that is a new species. And you guys gonna see that the news in the future. This is Dickia martinelli that I found in the same trip with Henrique Binnicker. That is one of the rarest species of Dickias and one of the only two species of Dickias in the state of Rio de Janeiro. We have Dickia martinelli and we have Dickia pseudococcinea in around the area of Pedro Naum, around Maricá. And that plant it happens in Paraty, in the state of Rio de Janeiro, and the population is really limited because Dickias, as we know, needs a special condition of a place to grow. It needs good ventilation, really good ventilation, and strong sun. So to advocate to growth inside of a forest is almost impossible.
Yeah.
It's like 90% impossible. And in that region, all over, it's just a rainforest. So to find the correct place to Dickia martinelli to grow is really hard. And it means that I wouldn't be surprised if in some years, in not our existence, I'm saying, it's gonna soon disappear because the forest is eating literally the area. It's taking all around. It's just one of the last places that the forest didn't colonize it. So probably that plant gonna disappear, but it's a natural phenomenon. How do I say that? Natural,
Phenomenon.
yeah, phenomenon. Yeah, this is a Tillandsia germiniflora hybrid between Tillandsia gardneri. So as you guys can see, I really like natural hybrids.
Yeah, it's beautiful. This is a natural hybrid?
Yeah, it's a natural hybrid. It came
Mhm.
from the state of Espírito Santo, and it's as I said, and it's rolled. It's a natural hybrid between Tillandsia gemminiflora and gardneri. But I have in collection Tillandsia gardneri, crossed with tillandsia stricta. I have tillandsia gemini-flora crossed with Elbergery. I have tillandsia gemini-flora crossed with stricta. So it's really a mess. To don't really use the proper words to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and apparently it's the last slide of our presentation, and I was there with Henrique Binica on my last expedition to find the Chia Martinelli, and as I showed in the last pictures, and the plant in the branch is Echimeia nodicaulis variation para T. That is a very, very famous clone around, I think, United States because it's compact and really, really, it has a really fantastic color, like
Mm-hmm.
purple, all mixed. It's a really small plant. When I say small, it's like 15 centimeters. 15 centimeters, and it's a very beautiful plant. And I just wanted to end the presentation with that picture that I like it.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, so here we are, and I hope you guys appreciated. I must also I must say that Juliana unfortunately gonna need to cut the presentation in some parts because I speak a lot. I
Oh,
speak.
you're very passionate and you have a lot to share. So we are very thankful, Nathan, that you gave us this presentation, and it's been a beautiful one. And now we're gonna open for some questions.
Thank you. So I really appreciate it to give the presentation. I'm gonna be here with pleasure answering you all.
All right. Thank you.